Yeah, we are.
We
Welcome
are.
to another episode of Exploring Happiness, where we talk about what was the new sentence? Free and alternative lifestyle and happiness. And you know what? We are at this beautiful campground in Tomato Day, and the guy who is mowing the lawn just decided to turn it on right now. So if you can hear some background noise, it's the land mower.
It's
the gardener.
It's the gardener mowing the salon.
And I think, we just allow him to be here because who doesn't like the smell of fresh cut grass, Mr. Jens?
We all love the smell of fresh cut grass in the morning. It's the best, actually.
So I'm Niki. This is my better half.
Much better half. Jens. Yeah, and today we got a really good question, actually. And it was
many questions.
Many people asked this question.
Also, yeah.
What has it been like to travel during the pandemic?
I don't know why I want to do that sound.
Did it say something? Did it cut off? Are we still live?
Yeah. We still live.
Okay. There's just a little bit of saying that it's not streaming. It is cut off.
I think it's live. It was live last time, and I gave us the same message.
Did it?
Yeah. Do you want me to check on my phone?
Check on your phone. Sorry, guys. Technical issues is always exciting. It's running.
It's running.
It's running. It's just fine.
Look at those numbnuts.
It's not in this one.
So.
Yeah. So I'll just say it again. So what has it been like traveling during the pandemic? So, and I think.
You want to give the word to me already?
I want to give the word to Niki because she had the first experience.
Yeah, so last year in the beginning of March, I traveled to LA to visit my very good friend Brooke to do some business stuff, and I think 7 days, well, already there, the news was talking more and more about all this pandemic and corona, and and 7 days in, I think, or what do you call her?
Prime Minister,
told every Danish citizen to come home to Denmark. And so I was like, oh shit, and I decided to do, but already there my flight was cancelled, and I completely panicked because what is going on in this world? And Brooke was also like, holy schminoli, what is going on here? But luckily, Jens actually just found a very good friend in Denmark, or another van lifer called Rune, who's both a doctor, and just overall he also lives a very holistic lifestyle. And he told me you can either choose now to completely panic or take it step by step, because I was trying to call the airlines and nobody was there, and they were busy because everything was actually kind of broken down. So I took his advice, and he was so right. 2 days after, I could get online again and rebook my tickets so I could fly him home to Jens, and it went all really smoothly. There was nothing really going on in the airports, and everything was very calm. So that was my first.
And I was at home,
panicking.
Really panicking a lot.
That's why.
Oh, snap!
Oh, that is just one of those days.
It's one of those days, but it's okay. Yeah, I was I was at home alone, just met Rune in the van, having a few beers and just talking to Rune, hanging out. And then it happened, and I was scared shitless because she was caught on the other side of the earth.
Yeah. Not so much. Yeah, it was just. You probably. Yeah, that's
I
your
was
own
scared.
feelings, of course.
She was okay.
I was actually not that scared because I was still with my friends and friend Brooke, and I was still somewhere where it was decently, you could live if you had to stay there forever. But anyways, I wanted to get home because we didn't know at this point where this would going. So when I arrived back home, we decided then, because we are van lifers full time, but because I then had to go into quarantine for 14 days, and at this point we didn't know anything about all this corona stuff yet. So we decided to take a summer house in Denmark and just calm down and relax and to see what this situation is all about, and of course following the rules and all that stuff.
Yeah, we were very strict in the beginning of trying to like not get our parents infected, and
Yeah. That's all that you had to say?
yeah, no, we were in the
Like,
summer house, and we
Okay,
just
and then stop.
and
Okay.
yeah.
You're so
So we were in the summer house, and everything was locking down. So what do we do then? Do we stay there and be
Panic.
afraid and panic, or how are we going to deal with this? Because
Yeah. I
Y-
want to say something.
say it.
Okay, it's because we finally we didn't have but for the first time we were actually free and alive. We had finally, we had a van, and we were, planned to travel Europe this year, and we had finally got all the way we are earning money was online now, and nothing had to do with markets anymore. We were finally both financial free or work free, or what do you
You were just geographically independent.
Yeah. So anyway, now here was whole lockdown, borders closed down. It's like, oh, the holy schmanoli, what are we then doing? And
What's
then
the point?
and then we thought, let's travel Denmark. Let's see what this pill has in store for us. And so we did. So we took on Denmark that summer and a bit of Sweden, and it was actually really nice to travel because there was nobody else doing it. So I felt like we had the
We
beaches
had
for
everything
ourselves.
to ourselves for
Yeah.
a whole year in Denmark, just
Oh, not a whole year.
a long time, and there was very few people around except for us, which was really nice. And the people who were around were often really
Calm about the whole situation.
calm about the situation. They were like-minded. They were also people who decided not to live in fear and just lock themselves in a dark basement and try not to move at all because they were afraid of the corona.
Yeah, because then more and more we took our cautions, of course, and on all that stuff, but living in fear was just not an option for us. I think there's, you can travel to different countries in the world where they also have different sicknesses. You can get sick of and die, or you can, like me, you can go into an accident, and you can always die. It's just not. That's just what we do in this world. We die.
What happens?
You born, you try to survive, and then you die.
Such a positive statement.
But it is, and I didn't want. I had to, for me myself. I needed to get over this fear of dying after the accident and all that stuff. So for me, anyways, that's another story for another time. But we didn't want to be afraid.
No, and we traveled it thin, and it was fun. It was good.
Yeah.
We saw places we never saw before.
Yeah, if you're not from Denmark, go to Denmark. It's beautiful.
Or even better, in your local area or your home country where you are now, I bet there's at least 1,000 things you never saw that you can always go out and explore. So don't sit at home even if the borders are closed or anything. There's always something new to see, even if it's just in your home country.
Yeah, and being outside in nature, and you can keep your social distance and all that stuff. And I think the best thing was then when we went to the top of Denmark, Skagen, and just at the top there was those seals just laying in the sun, and getting their belly warmed up, and it was just so nice to see the freedom they had. Like they didn't have a care in the world, and it was just a good reminder that, life is like a roller coaster. And there can be sometimes dangerous things, and sometimes there's not. But in the end, we need to enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
Anyways,
but then it got cold.
Oh, we went to Sweden as well.
Yeah, but
yeah,
they were also. It was the same like Denmark. There was not that many people,
we went hiking.
and we went hiking, and it was awesome. We had the trails to ourselves. We met one person, Vandretop.
Oh yeah,
very nice lady.
Yeah. Such a beautiful lady.
But
so good stories.
But yeah, it got really cold, and it's time to move on. But what do? They were in the media. Everything seemed like it was completely locked down, and you couldn't cross any borders, and everything was,
panic and dying, and it was. You know what the media is like.
You know what they say.
Yeah.
And then we just thought, fuck it, let's go to Portugal, and so we started slowly driving. Down from Denmark through Germany, no border patrol, crossed into Holland, no border patrol, crossed into Belgium, no border control, crossed into France, no border
and we stopped
control.
there.
Had a break in Belgium and had a break in France to get
Oh,
croissants
You
and
need to
brie.
have croissants and baguettes.
We said bonjour in
And
France,
au
and then we said au revoir. um, yeah, no
there
border
was no
control,
border.
and then we into Spain, no border control, and we stayed in Spain for 3-4 days
Yeah,
in
that was
the
at my birthday.
Termas Romanos del Bande, which like the thermal hot spas in Spain, and also no panic.
But then we had like we were going into this to the nearest town to get groceries, and was this troop of 10 or 20 policemen, and we thought, fuck, they are gonna stop us now, and they did, but that was not because of the pandemic. I don't know even what they were saying.
They were looking for someone, but we had a nice talk.
And the policemen had been traveling.
We'd just been in the Baltics.
Yeah. And then we arrived here in Portugal at the 19th of December or something like that, and we stayed in the south.
Down
right?
south, not at an open campsite, but at a family that have a small space where people can park their vans, and they have a house you can rent, and just a nice little rural place. And we were there for about a month time, and the restaurants were open, and you could go and get pizza. You had to wear your mouth cover, but everything was kind of open, except there almost wasn't any people, so we could roam free, take full advantage, and it didn't have to, take too much care.
Yeah,
actually.
And then, but for us then, we thought that it was warmer. That's why we came to Portugal.
It never rains, and it's really warm in Portugal, is
It's
what
really
they
warm
tell
in
you.
Portugal. They tell you that, but we woke up and it was frozen outside. So we decided to get an Airbnb because it was just not bearable. And so we stayed at an Airbnb, and then when we got and arrived to the Airbnb, they got the full lockdown here in Portugal, where you were not allowed to leave the municipals.
Yeah, you couldn't cross the municipal borders or the regional borders or anything.
So
we just decided to extend that, and we stayed at some awesome people, Tor and Elizabeth, and
we had a good time.
We became really good friends with them, and every Friday we had game nights, and we did all sorts of stuff with them, and ended up staying there for 2.5 months. Yeah, but the good time had to end, and we had to get back on the road because lockdown was lifted. So we just jumped back in the van and started driving around again. We went to the national park. There's free campsites all over Portugal where you can stay if you're in a van.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay anything. Most of them have water and toilets as well, maybe in a cold shower if you're really lucky.
Yeah. And
the stores were open in all the cities.
People are so friendly here, so happy to see you, and I don't feel the strictness here. Maybe it's because we don't understand the language, so we don't understand when they talk about the stuff. But anyways, I think the best thing I will say traveling in the pandemic is you have it all for yourself.
Everything.
And when you finally then meet other people, like we have met the Germans, you probably heard about them by now, and they are just like-minded, so they are also not living in fear and just traveling, and we make sure we support the locals when they finally open again, buy eggs and more groceries from them, because the lockdown has been hard on people, like especially for the small communities and the small shops, so we try to make sure to support them all while traveling.
I would just like to throw a punch for the small businesses around the world. Support the small businesses, the small art stores, the small grocery stores, the local things. Support them as much as you can. If you have means to do that, spend your money there and not at the big giant companies. Not that there's anything wrong with big giant companies, but the small ones, they really need you right now. They really need you. And
I think also the small local restaurants and cafes and shops are what makes it worthwhile traveling, doesn't it? It's fine that you can go to a mall, but when you go to the small streets here in Portugal and Tomar, and you see those small, really unique cafes and everything, that's why we travel too, isn't it?
That's exactly why we travel.
Yeah, and this is why I bought this beautiful mug. Have you seen it? Woohoo. It's also from here. Sorry.
Someone is gonna be. I want that mug.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah, I think.
that to round up on everything, it's up to you if you want to stay at home and not travel because you're scared of the pandemic. But we had my parents' neighbor.
Oh,
when
yeah,
we told her,
Anna
she just
Maria.
said, "Well, you might as well get corona in Portugal as down here.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
Don't stop living. Just please don't stop living."
And I think also something that occurred to me, I already knew it back then when I traveled to Bali, but now you see in the media, then it's France is really bad there, or in Italy, and then it's really bad in Portugal for 14 days. But there's not any panic here like what you see in the news. It's like 5 minutes of panic in a little small piece. Like where do you put your flashlight is what you see, right, in a dark forest. And that's the panic can be over there, or you can shine it in something more beautiful. Because I promise you 95% of the population are not panicking. Like it's the same as in your own country. Like there's no, I will see they say they're even more relaxed than Denmark here.
Super relaxed. And when they were at the height of the pandemic and they were apparently the worst hit country in Europe, I didn't hear we were driving around, I didn't see any funerals, I didn't hear any church bells going off, I didn't see anybody running around in the street with their arms in the air or anything. It was very friendly and nice, and they were just a little bit sad that they had to close the stores, but that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
I just want to make it clear, it's not about being against COVID or not believing in a virus or anything like that. It's for us, it's simply a matter of where do we choose to put that focus? Do we choose to just panic and yell and run away or hide and tell everyone to do the same, or do we decide to simply live?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we just made a really conscious decision that you can be the biggest conspiracy theorist not in the world, but you just live.
Yeah, I think you still have to live. There's always danger out there in one way or another, and now it's the corona, and but still, it's if you move around in nature and keep out of the bigger cities, you're fine. It's so beautiful. People are so happy to see you. There's nobody like living in fear. We have not been told off. We have not been stopped. We have not met any rudeness or something like that. We just meet really, really wonderful people, and people are everywhere we go are happy to see us, and we have
Tell
chats
us where to go,
and
help out if we are in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. So I will say it has been the only thing that has been a difference to traveling during this time is that there's less people.
There's less people,
Yeah.
and the restaurants were closed for a few months. That's about it.
Exactly, and then otherwise nature is still the same.
Except for the all the mouthpieces everywhere,
Yeah,
because they blow out of the garbage bins, or the birds pick them out, or whatever
Exactly.
happens.
But I think I don't know if there was any more things to this you want to say, because then I want to wrap it up by
No, I don't think there's any more. Just if I can give it as like on a scale of 1 to 10, how fun has it been to travel during the pandemic? I'd say 8 out of 10. It's been great. Yeah.
It has been great. It has been really nice because for me the most important thing is nature and meeting awesome people, and we have definitely done that. We have actually made some really, really extremely close friendships in these times.
Yes, we do. Yes, we have.
Yeah.
We have some really good new friends. Yeah.
Yeah, especially Elisabeth and Torben. Tor, sorry.
Yeah, and Anna and Philip and Anton and the family and Valerie. And
Valerie. Oh yeah, and all the smoonties
all
in the
the
world.
Doggies and and all the people we've met and talked to. They've been fantastic. So
it's been overall really great. Again, so I think that's just one lesson from this today, and one wrap up is like you have to choose where you look, where you put your flashlight.
Yeah.
And sorry, but for me it's like you're gonna die one day.
Yeah.
And you better live until that day arrives. and we never know when that's gonna happen.
No.
I know it's dark, but it's the truth. It's the motherfucking truth. Otherwise, do you have?
Oh yeah. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah.
Anything you want us to talk about in the podcast? Any advice you want? Anything?
Do you want to be interviewed
Do you
by us?
wanna be on the podcast? Anything like that?
Do you
just-
have any suggestions? Like sometimes, I really want to hear more from them, or any, more from Anna or Philip or anybody else you're following. We can interview them and talk about van life, online businesses, freedom,
Yeah.
lifestyle, happiness.
Do you want it to be shorter? Do you want it to be longer? Anything, send us a comment, write something, because we are just playing around with the format here, and we are open to suggestions, and we are improving every day.
Yeah, and we also, I want to do that. I want to do a hot chair.
Hot chair. Who's going to be in the chair?
I don't know. So if you want to be in the hot chair and you're going to be coached by us, if you have an idea, if you want to travel, if you want to do something that's alternative, let us know. And we can sometimes, we can not see the forest for trees. Is that the saying? I
You
like
can
that.
say
I said
that.
it right. And we just need some people from the outside to put out the path for us and show us the way. So we would love to be them.
Yeah. Please ask questions. Lots of them. That's the best way for us to come up with content. So
Yeah.
ask
I think
something.
that's that. Should we just do it the French way and say
Au revoir.
revoir?